Jono.
Last election, you planted 1 million trees by 2030. You planted one for an election campaign on congestion-busting infrastructure. You said wanted to get people home sooner and safer. That largely hasn't happened either. And you promised a National Integrity Commission, which also hasn't happened. If you can't deliver on what you promise, how can Australians trust what you say now?
Let me tell you what we have achieved. Our government has reduced unemployment to 4%. Our government, working together with the state and territory governments around the country, has faced the biggest health crisis in 100 years, the biggest economic crisis since the Great Depression. And coming out of that crisis, we've saved tens of thousands of lives. We have put 375,000 more people in jobs than we even had before the pandemic. Our rate of economic growth outstrips those of the United Kingdom, the United States, Germany, France, Italy, Canada, Japan. We have one of the highest rates of vaccination against COVID and pandemic preparedness in the world. We are delivering some of the biggest infrastructure projects this nation has ever seen, whether it be Snowy 2.0, the Western Sydney International Airport, the inland rail projects, the North-South corridor down there in South Australia. And in this budget in particular, we have announced some of the biggest regional transformation projects which are going to ensure that this country can unlock the wealth of our regions. Now, when it particularly comes to forestry, we have seen the resurgence of the forestry industry, but yes, we've had some setbacks. The bushfires saw some 80,000 hectares, I think, specifically of forestry which was damaged. And that target that we set was out to 2030. So there is still some time to go yet, Jono, until we reach that mark. And that's why the research that we've put into this package is all about ensuring that we can increase the yield and the success of the forestry crops we're putting in to meet the very commitment that we've said. But the thing is, Jono, though, you're right, this is a choice. This is a choice at this election. It's a choice between a government that you know, a government that has a strong economic plan, that has kept people in work, that has brought tens of thousands of businesses through the worst crisis we've seen, that has been tested each and every day in these very trying circumstances, and an opposition that you don't. And the consequences of that choice are very real, because the consequences of that choice is if you choose a Labor Party that doesn't know how to manage money, that hasn't got an economic plan, that hasn't been able to tell people who they are and what they're about, then you can't have confidence about their ability to keep downward pressure on rising costs of living, to keep putting Australians into jobs as we have put people into jobs, and to keep delivering the infrastructure projects on the ground, working together with state governments to ensure that people do get home sooner and safer, and the big infrastructure projects we're delivering can keep generating those jobs, which has seen the Australian economy go to the head of the international pack.